Good morning. Good morning. We are doing our live today on how to budget for a term abroad. One of our alum and uh, staff members, Brett, is going to be joining us shortly. So we'll just wait for him to hop in and we can get started.
Hello.
Good morning, Brett.
Good morning.
Or afternoon for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So just on the break.
Just there. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, we got some people in, so let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining today. My name's Katie. I'm the digital marketing and social media coordinator for SAI. And today's theme overall is um, all about budgeting for your time abroad. So today we're also joined with a SAI alum himself, as well as one of our previous SAI ambassadors and a SAI staff member with our academic relations team, Brett. Um, yeah, we'll get into it. Oh, I'm so glad we got some comments. Of course, that's what we're doing these lives for, is to help out with all of the people who have never done these before. So thank you for letting me know. Let me please comment down below if you guys have any questions specifically about budgeting. Or if you have any other questions, we can always add them into the other lives as well. A little bit of background about the SAI Ambassador Program, just because Brett was one. Ambassador Program is a group of carefully selected students who recently completed a SAI program, whether that's across all three countries. And the program provides alumni the opportunity to share their study abroad experiences with all of our prospective students and also build their own knowledge of international education. Brett, can you tell us a little bit about your time abroad and what program you did?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I'm Brett Eppinger. Nice to be talking to everyone here. I studied with the University of South Carolina for my university schooling, and I studied abroad with SAI both in the
Mhm.
summer of 2022 for a Maymester, as well as a full-length semester in the spring of 2023 in Florence at FUA. I studied wines, fashion, and business while I was out there to kind of, get the credits out of the way while also taking some fun courses along the way.
Absolutely. Awesome. I am just loading up some of these. So do you have a budgeting tip that you would give someone is about to start studying abroad? Just a basic one to start with.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, going into your whole study abroad experience, you know that you're going to want to travel to certain places. You're going to know what sort of holidays fall on what, whether you know the
Mhm.
exact days, you might not know. But I think it's good to at least look into what travel is going to cost. Understand the basic idea of the cost of a train ticket to the airport, the cost of a flight. Just get that kind of in your mind of what your basic travel might cost, whether you decide to leave the country or you decide to visit, 23 different countries. You can do it. It's all just kind of a matter of planning ahead, so to speak. And then when it comes to food as well, know that if you do want to save some money, it's definitely best to start looking into going to the grocery store that's closest to you. Got a budget essentially maybe 1 to 2 trips every week if you're cooking every night, because the fridges just aren't the same size as they are in America. So you have, a little less space to work with. Food doesn't last as long. So, keeping stuff like that in mind, definitely when it comes to budgeting, um, don't overconsume while you're out there.
Mhm.
There's definitely, you don't have the space for it, whether it's your suitcase, whether it's your fridge. Just be smart when you are buying things, at the grocery store or when you're traveling.
I am also a SAI alum, and I became very familiar with my Conad down the road from me.
Same here. Every time I've returned to Florence, I go and get an orange juice from there. So it's definitely it's a staple for me.
Ooh, I'm gonna need your food things because
Oh, I
I'm
got plenty. I have plenty.
awesome. Okay, so then, and I know we've also had other alumni in the past mention one of them is just to like set a full range, not a strict number specific on what you want to
Hmm.
spend every week. Some people, I'm also a SCI alum. I studied in Florence in 2017, so it's been a minute, but um, so my budgeting tips are similar, but drastically different compared to today. So definitely I set my range to be about, you know, a certain number that I wanted to spend, but I definitely waited until like 2 weeks in. Mind you, summer is a little bit different because you have much shorter time while you're there. Okay, so if you could go back, how would you budget differently for your term abroad?
I think I probably would have eaten out a slight bit less. I think in terms of like the cost, we lived right above a restaurant that we became really good friends with the owners. So we got, the family treatment while we were there, so we weren't
Mhm.
spending the full amount of money. So we knew if we didn't want to cook, we could go down there and kind of get what we needed. Um, but I would say I would probably cook more in terms of like saving money, just because, I didn't travel too much. I never left the country of Italy. So I
Mhm.
never had to worry about international flights and stuff like that. Uh, I think, yeah, it would have maybe just been planning ahead a little bit more when it came to travel instead of day of getting, whatever ticket was left, knowing that I wanted to go to this place 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Uh, that's essentially it's a little bit cheaper if you book ahead than if you're, booking last minute. That would be my biggest thing on kind of budgeting for travel. And then just
Mhm.
budgeting for food. I understand that some nights, you don't feel like you want to cook. Some nights you do. I would say definitely plan ahead. Like when you're back at home, I think that just the idea of, oh, I'm going to cook 2 nights this week. Great. Now
Mhm.
you have the money that you're going to spend for your lunch, dinner, breakfast, wherever it is. And then you have, the rest of the money to play with when it comes to restaurants. If you want to buy a cool bag, if you want to buy a cool jersey, I know a lot of my money went to
Mhm.
stuff like that. I wouldn't change a thing about that, but at the same time, I definitely had to buy a second suitcase because I did not do that properly.
Fair, fair. And that's the thing you can do too.
Hmm.
It saves money in the long run of you needing to just check another bag sometimes,
Exactly.
rather than ship it. Um, I also similarly had the same thing. I basically budgeted meals, food specifically. I would go to the grocery store from Monday through Thursday, and then, or to be able to eat out on one day, plus the weekends if we were traveling. So I tried to make sure that I was balanced like that. Okay. You have a very unique situation when it comes to what you like spending your money on. You're big on sports, so you did a lot of soccer jerseys and things like that. I'm sorry, football. I need to
Yeah, it works. It
change
works.
that. Same thing. Um, what was something that you think is absolutely worth totally splurging on completely, and then something that wasn't worth splurging on?
For me, I would say the best trip I took it was over St.
Mhm.
Patrick's Day. I went to Lake Como. It was with two of my roommates, and it was incredibly last minute. And I would not have changed a single thing about any of that in terms of what we spent
Mhm.
money on, from the restaurants we went to the Airbnb we stayed at, to the train that we took.
Yeah.
I would say that was probably the best money I spent outside of
Okay.
various, soccer game tickets and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, I probably would have spent less money on miscellaneous clothes. Now, I didn't bring a nice winter coat with me.
Hmm.
So in the first week I had to buy one, but it was a big leather shearling, like, very fancy
Nice.
coat. And that's essentially what forced me to buy a new suitcase to begin with because it was massive.
Too big, yeah.
And I live in Georgia. You can't wear that in Georgia. It's 80 degrees now. So
Yeah,
I would say I probably regret that the most. That being said, while I was out there, it did what it needed to do. Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, I would say definitely if you're gonna make impulse purchases, maybe stop for a second, realize, you know, if you're gonna buy something special like a souvenir, a little Duomo, a little
Hmm.
Ponte Vecchio, something like that. Whereas, buying just 100 different t-shirts that you're never gonna wear again, they take up a lot more space than that little cardboard box.
I will say also, if you're looking for, we'll get more into the packing tips and stuff next week, but like if there's something specific that you know that you would rather pack, an extra pair of jeans and you need to lay out some extra space on socks or whatever, you can buy socks there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to the
I
middle of nowhere.
I always tell people, I'm like, they have a Zara. You can go get a pack of socks. It's
Uh,
okay. But yeah, so I completely understand that. If there was there anything in particular that was noticeably cheaper than here or noticeably more expensive than here?
I would say the majority of everything was cheaper. The American dollar goes a lot farther than a euro out there. So I would get my weekly shopping done, which included, ground veal, rabbit ragu, fresh pasta, fresh cheese
You went
for,
all out.
for like 25, $30. It was one of
Yeah.
those things I got quite spoiled while I was
Hmm.
eating out there. So I would say the food is definitely cheaper. So when you're budgeting, you don't have to budget that one meal is going to cost you $35 unless you make it $35. Like there are very high end places that you can
It
go,
also truly
but
depends on where you're shopping.
exactly, yeah. Like for me, whenever I was going to buy a jersey or something, I'd go to a vintage store. I'd go to,
Hmm.
secondhand shops. I'd spend hours researching because I know that, they might not have exactly what I want, but if they have it, it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah,
So I'd say that's my
absolutely.
biggest thing. I think clothing, if you're gonna like be buying designer clothing or something like that, if you're in Paris, if you're in Rome, Florence, Milan, whatever it may be, places that are known for their designer, just remember that it's expensive, but there's also the VAT return. So like there's
Hmm.
certain things that you can budget into what you're spending if you are spending
Hmm.
a lot more money. But I would say, yeah, for the most part, food was so much cheaper for me. Coffee was so much cheaper for me
Oh
as someone who
yes.
drinks 4 shots of espresso a day. And and then yeah, I think I would say buying clothes, it's going to be the same price. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not going to be like, oh, it's in Italy, it's cheaper. No, it's the
I
same people making it.
think to splurge for myself, I'd like cut off a day of going out to eat
Mhm.
so that I could have gelato more throughout the week. Because I
Definitely.
was
And
like,
those are, yeah,
why? It's gelato. I'm in Italy. Um,
exactly. Those are
yeah.
sacrifices you can make while you're out there. Like when you're there, you might have that whole set of, oh, I'm going to have, bistecca alla Fiorentina every single
Hmm.
Thursday from this place. Then you realize, well, I just discovered a really good burger restaurant down the road.
Hmm.
I'm saving money now. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
you budget, but don't budget so specifically for specific meals, specific restaurants, because you will discover new things. You'll
Hmm.
discover that little hole in the wall that will cost you and your buddies $10 total to go eat at, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's kind of the beauty of being there.
Absolutely. Okay, how much cash did you bring with you? And is it worth it to charge the credit card more than cash?
So in general, I don't carry cash around. So I think I maybe brought with me when I landed in Florence, I maybe had 20 euros to my name in cash,
Hmm.
which proved not great. I definitely should have had a little bit more on me, just for at the time Viva experiences, stuff like that. Stuff that like I don't need the credit card charge for a euro 50 espresso. Would have been nice
Yeah.
just to have the coins. But my roommates all had cash, and Venmo, PayPal, whatever it was, I'd pay them back, or I'd get
Yeah.
dinner if they got that. I would definitely say have at least 100 euros cash. I mean, at the very least, it gets you a coffee here and there. It gets you this, it gets you that.
Hmm.
But it's also not carrying around, your life savings worth of euros every time you go
Absolutely.
out. And another thing on that, don't bring all your cash with you. If you know you're
Hmm.
going to a place that you'll need to use cash, which you'll, when you're traveling, some places have tourist tax, some places have that. Um, you can research that ahead of time. Definitely do that because you don't want to get caught out, have to go to the ATM, pull out a minimum amount of cash and then eat the transfer fee and the international fee. It's just not worth it. So I'd say 100, I think 100 euros would have probably gotten me through the entirety of my semester with,
Really?
yeah, yeah,
I was on the opposite end of the spectrum. I didn't want to charge. I was so scared of transaction fees. So I once a month went and pulled out cash. If it was something like we booked online, that was a different situation, for travel and stuff like that. But I pulled out cash and then just budgeted within cash because, um, I grow math things way too easily. So I was like, I need the physical to know how much I have to keep on budget. And so I would pull out a certain amount every week and then go, or every month, and then go, okay, this is what I have to spend this month, including for food, travel, and anything else that I might be dealing with. So, um, both work. I think I pulled out about 400 every month, but I definitely don't think I spent that much every month.
yeah.
Except, I mean, most of mine, I traveled a lot with my roommates and I. And so most of ours went to travel, but, or just activities that we were doing, nights out, things like that. Okay. Did your US debit or credit card work very easily abroad?
It did. It pretty much every single place I went to, even kind of the outskirts. Like I decided to go on a lot of walks while I was out there. So
Yeah.
I'd leave the touristy areas really
Good for
easily
you.
often. Thank you. And it was one of those things where, they do use credit cards out
Yeah.
there. It's pretty much really post COVID, it's
A
contactless
lot
payment
of people
is
will
really
now
there now.
do Apple Pay too.
Hmm.
A
Yeah.
lot of them will do that now.
And so it's always smart to have a little cash on you if,
Yeah.
want to do that. But for the most part, even my most recent trip to Florence, Italy in general, France in general, everything, everyone took credit card. It's really kind of up to you if you want to use the credit card. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, is that $20 charge worth the 15% fee or whatever it is if you have the
Yeah.
cash on you? But like
Yeah.
buying a new suitcase, you're not going to buy that in cash. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just look into like I think the only one that's iffy is like an American Express. So just look into
yeah,
that.
definitely. If you are going to use your credit card or a debit card out there, every website it says if they have international fees, it tells
Yeah.
you exactly what they are. It's one of those things that it's mundane, but it definitely is huge in the planning process of
Hmm.
is it worth maybe even if you have the ability opening a new credit card, opening this, doing that to make sure that if that's something that really is part of your budgeting, it's there are ways to work with it.
Absolutely. Um, let's see. Roughly how much do you remember how much you spent per week on average?
Per week. Let's see.
I know I looking back, it was probably about 50 to $100 more if
Hmm.
there was travel involved, depending on where that was. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say I
yeah.
didn't do too many overnight trips, so my train tickets were, 60 bucks plus a meal. So weekends for me were probably, I would say maybe 120-ish per weekend. And then I
Yeah,
would shop once or twice a week, but I'd shop with my roommates and some of us would cover like because we all bought chicken, we all bought oil, we all bought the same things to cook.
sure.
So we kind of just passed it week to week if we were all buying the
Yeah,
same thing, which was really nice. Um, so I'd say yeah, probably about I would say safely 200 a week, 250 maybe.
absolutely.
I think that that's about where we were at because there were certain things that, I got last night's dinner. Well, you get this, tonight's dinner, and then so on and so forth.
Absolutely. Candace, any recommendations for a company to help you plan weekend trips? Um, every study abroad student will know that the second that they get abroad and they post one post about it on Instagram, they get inundated with with DMs and messages from people from different companies that are actively on site wanting to help, plan trips. But we'll definitely get more into, all of the travel stuff in next week's session on next Wednesday, which is all about travel for, and for uh, across all of the locations. We've got different people from every city. Okay, let's see. And you mentioned Venmo and like Cash App and stuff earlier. Is that how you guys tracked and split shared costs and things like that? I
Yeah, for
did
the
the same
most part.
thing.
I
Yeah.
think it started out with kind of the Venmo. It started off with the Venmo, the
Yeah.
PayPal, whatever it was, and then it turned into, okay, no, you get this meal, I get this meal.
Yeah.
Until it got to the point we were towards the end of the semester, we realized we had a lot more of our budget left and we were starting to splurge a little bit more.
Totally.
And it turned into, well, I covered the $25 lunch. I'm not going to cover the $180 meal for dinner. And then it kind of became one of those, all right, we'll go back to Venmoing and do that kind of stuff. But for the most part, yeah, it was Venmo. If we had cash, it was cash. If it was,
Hmm.
oh, I bought the train tickets because I'd been to Italy before, so I bought the train tickets. I knew how that worked. So someone else
Yep.
was on the Airbnb. It all pretty much came out in the wash in the grand scheme of things. I know that, everyone's different, but that's kind of how we did it. It's super easy. I mean, Venmo, though the locals do not use it,
Sure.
pretty much your roommates all probably will, whether it be Cash App, Venmo, PayPal,
Sure.
Zelle, all of them, there's a form to pay your roommates back no matter what.
Absolutely. Okay, and then is food included or is there some sort of meal plan? And then yeah, those two.
Yeah. For me, in Florence, we were given the day we landed, we were given meal vouchers at a restaurant called
Mhm.
Pino's. It was a sandwich shop right by our old office, which
Loved
was
it.
I didn't
It's
realize we had
delish.
those. I didn't realize we were given those until the day we left. So,
Oh no.
and it was maybe a 5-minute walk from my apartment, which is
I
even more
was very
heartbreaking.
bummed because I also did not know about them.
Mhm.
Walked past them a million times. Did not
Yeah.
know about them until probably the last 2 weeks of my
Mhm.
semester. And I ended up eating there for lunch 4, 5 times over the course of that amount of time.
Yeah. It was heartbreaking to realize that, especially because as I've gone back to Florence multiple times since my semester,
Hmm.
I've gone to Pino's every time. Man,
Oh,
those
I'll be there in
vouchers
two
would have been
weeks.
really
I'll
nice.
be
Sound
going there
jealous
in
of
two
you.
weeks.
I'm very jealous. But I
um,
mean, and then on top of that, I know that FUA also gave us meal credits. Off the top of
yep,
my head, I don't remember the exact number, potentially 15. And that was essentially, I also didn't really take advantage of those because my
I didn't
classes
either.
were weird, but it worked if I wanted to get, an espresso on a
Hmm.
class break, or if I wanted to, I actually got a carbonara during one of my finals one time. So like it
Yeah, the
it worked when it
each
needed to.
absolutely, like everyone has different ones. I am constantly hearing rave reviews about the Rome cafeteria and their meal plan. Um, everyone kind of has different things.
Mhm.
But for the most part, most people are doing their own thing. And then like supplementing a few meals here and there, mostly lunches, I'd say.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not like a full, and now some schools offer them. Um,
mhm.
it's great for supplemental if you want to grab a snack, want to grab cornetto, want to grab some form of fashion of snack, drink while you're in class.
Yeah,
I would say that's probably the best way to utilize it, as
if you're
opposed to
going to be
planning
close to
around that.
campus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. And then was there anything that you wish you bought while you were abroad but you didn't? I know you've been back multiple times, so don't ignore the ones that since you've been back and probably have purchased those things.
I would say while I was abroad, it's going to sound terrible, more soccer jerseys because it up until about last year, every time I visit a country or a new place, I
Hmm.
buy a local team's jersey if I go to a
Yep.
match, if whatever it is. Um, and I went to so many matches. I wish I got more from
Mhm.
that. But at the same time, now fast forward, I bought my favorite shirt from that time period I was in
Sure.
Florence. So I would say at the time I would have loved to have bought that, but at the same time I got it.
Hmm.
Maybe bringing home, a couple more olive oils, or I ended up doing a
I bought
trip
myself
to
a
Modena.
wallet when I was there. That
Yeah.
was my big souvenir.
I wish I bought more souvenirs for my friends. I think that might
Yeah.
be like I think given the opportunity to buy them a Duomo or a cool little print, I think
Hmm.
that would have been cool. But
Yeah.
again, yeah, as I've gone back, I've been able to kind of retroactively fix that, which has been nice.
Absolutely. My actual, probably my favorite souvenir that I got, we'll ignore the tattoo that's on my ankle as a souvenir. Um, the other like big one that I got, I actually didn't purchase, even though I studied in Florence, I didn't purchase it in Florence. It was a print of a watercolor painting of the street that I lived on, which was
Hmm.
luck, honestly. And it was like €10 when I was traveling elsewhere. So I grabbed that. And then other than that, I have always said I wished I got a Christmas ornament from Florence, um, as well as or something similar from different places that I've that I have traveled to. Okay, so with just a couple of minutes left, um, what is the cheapest and safest way to travel? I know you didn't really travel outside of the country, but I personally would say trains.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, if you're going way too far, like it's gonna take drastically longer on a train, take a plane. It's not gonna be as
Mhm.
cheap, but it is what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
do you
I
have
agree with
any
that.
recommendations?
Trains
Regional trains
definitely.
are always going to be cheaper, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Even like for me, I think that at the end of the day, when if you're planning to travel outside of Italy, Spain,
Hmm.
uh, France, Paris and Barcelona slightly different because they have, nice airports relatively close to
Yeah,
them, like Charles de Gaulle for Paris. Um, Florence's airport does a lot of great flights, but they're
very
all
small.
relatively regional. It's a very small airport.
Yeah.
The thing is, Rome is an hour and a half train. Milan is a 3 hour
Mhm.
train. Bologna is an hour 45. Pisa is about an hour and 15 after exchanges and all that. And all of them have more
Great
options.
flights. Yeah.
So I would say that if you are planning to travel, don't limit yourself to what Florence offers.
Hmm.
And then if you do decide, oh, Milan is, 300 bucks cheaper to fly out of there to go to the same place for the same time.
And it's going to cost
Budget,
you a
budget,
hundred
yeah,
euros to go on a train up to
exactly.
Milan.
Budget that time. If that time is worth that saving, I guess,
Hmm.
you have your answer there. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Weigh your options. There are so many different options to travel
There
out
are.
there. So many different options. Oh, as well as you don't need an Uber. Even in
No,
Milan, you don't need an Uber. The train system is great. The tram system is great. The metro system is great. Take advantage of it. It's
absolutely.
cheap and it gets you exactly where you need to be.
I
And
was
you
in
get that kind of
Paris.
experience of being a local. So,
Yeah. I can say I've been to almost every single location except for Barcelona.
mhm.
It's on my list still. Um, and uh, the metro in Paris was very easy to figure out. They have maps everywhere, and you'll figure it out. There was one day I decided my friend and I decided to walk from the Louvre to the Eiffel Tower, and we walked rather than take the metro because we wanted to explore the city. Even though it took us 3 times longer, but that's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, and then uh about let's see, how much for maybe like a weekend of travel. It really depends on how quickly you really depends on how quickly you post them and schedule out all of your and plan all of your travel. Of course, if you travel, I mean, we're talking about summer students, so if they're planning now, it's going to be much cheaper. But that's also very difficult because you don't know what's going on while you are actively there.
Yeah. I would say my biggest thing is if you have a plan for a big trip
Mm-hmm.
that you know that you want to do,
Yep.
plan that out. But don't be so strict and plan every single weekend.
Absolutely.
Let your roommates, let your friends that you might meet, save time for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go to Athens, Greece, it's been your absolute goal. Book that trip or at least plan that trip and let your roommates work around that if they want to join you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's
And
don't
you
be
will
so rigid,
always
but
find people there that will want to
exactly.
join you.
Exactly.
Um, Morgan, the lives are posted up on our YouTube the day of the live. So we have last week's already up on our YouTube. Today, this afternoon, I'll get today's lives up on our YouTube. And they're also going to be in all of the Ready, Set, Go packs as well. So you can watch them from there as well. We might post them here. I'm not sure yet. They might just all get batched out in the reels. And then lastly, budgeting wise, phone plans.
Yeah, I would say pretty much all mobile providers or mobile carriers have like that international plan, and it is expensive day by day. For vacation, it's nice, but for
Mm-hmm.
summer, semester, whatever it may be, it's expensive. Um, Train stations, airports, even city centers, they all have a Vodafone, a TIM, uh,
Mm-hmm.
a mobile service provider.
Yeah,
Go there. They are used to having study abroad students come in. They
absolutely.
understand that, the month by month or the pay all for this certain amount of months,
Mm-hmm.
they'll work with you. I think that definitely plan on getting a mobile plan, though. It's cheaper than going through your regular carrier for the entire semester.
You can also use an eSIM if you're not
Hmm.
planning on using like phone service and you just want data to be able to use maps and text people and things like that. You can definitely do that. When I went abroad, I didn't use anything. I just wiped out my phone and then used only Wi-Fi to contact people. And then I used um, my international coverage when I traveled. And that was only really just to like check in with my parents to let them know that I was safe. And like if there was an emergency. But other people around you will also have um, plans if you absolutely are not able to do that as well. Okay, is there any other questions about budgeting from everyone in the live? If not, we are going to jump on live again to this afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific, which is 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. That way we'll have Christian, another ambassador and alum, join in. He studied in Rome, so you can get some tips from him there. Um, but yeah, other than that, thank you all for joining today. Thank you, Brett, for joining
Of
last
course.
second. And if you do want to get in touch with any one of our ambassadors about specific questions, if you have a specific question about Brett or for Brett or myself, feel free to send a message over to us. You can always send a message over to our admissions team and email at admissions@sciprograms.com. And they'll be able to answer any questions as well as your admissions counselor. Please reach out to us anytime. We can definitely answer any of your questions. Next week, we are meeting all on travel. And then the week after that, next Wednesday is all on travel. And then Monday, the 20th, is all about packing. So we are very excited for all of that. And we will see you then.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day.
Uh, See ya.
Bye, Brett.
Bye.